I used to think I didn't need a task manager. But as I got older and took on more roles, life got messy. Work, chores, family, relationships, everything started blending together. Soon, just trying to remember things became exhausting. Until I moved everything, every task and every detail, into TickTick. That's when I realized, instead of relying on my memory, it's so much easier to let an external system handle it. I've developed a small habit. Whenever something pops into my head, a reminder, a don't forget this, no matter how small it is, I immediately throw it into TickTick's inbox. No sorting, no thinking, no organizing. Just write it down and let it disappear from my mind. TickTick syncs across all devices, so capturing is easy whether I'm on my phone or computer. If typing isn't convenient, I can even long press to use voice input. Once it's inside TickTick, I know I won't forget it, and I can stop mentally holding on to it. As tasks started adding up, I created lists to divide them into different areas. Click the plus button to create lists like work, life, personal, or project-based lists. Work-related tasks go into the work list under the work folder. Bills, groceries, and household chores go into the life list. Project lists work a bit differently. Area lists are ongoing parts of my life, but project lists are temporary. For example, when I was renovating my home, I created a separate project list instead of putting everything into life. It keeps things much clearer and easier to manage. As for those messy items that I dumped into the inbox earlier, I organize them when I have free time, moving each one into the right list. If a task is already clear, I assign its date and list when adding it. After this step, I can literally feel my life becoming more organized and structured. I used to be terrified of future tasks, things that were due days, weeks, or months later. All I could do was remind myself constantly and still forget. Now I let dates and reminders handle everything. Mortgage payments, monthly reviews, quarterly check-ins. I set the date, set the repeat cycle, and when the time comes, the task just shows up in my to-do list. Tasks with dates automatically appear in the calendar, so whenever I open it, I see a clear picture of the upcoming days and weeks. This step brought more than just productivity, it brought a real emotional shift. I finally stopped worrying about forgetting things, and I feel so much lighter. As mentioned earlier, TickTick syncs across all platforms. When I'm working, I use the web version the most. No downloads, just open and use. My favorite feature is the tasks and calendar in one view layout. Right-click the task or calendar icon to enable the split view. You can see your lists and calendar together, and simply drag tasks onto the calendar to assign time blocks. Before I officially start my day, I always do this routine. Open the calendar, review my tasks, drag important ones onto the timeline, making sure I leave enough time to process them, and that becomes the rhythm of my day. Once this is done, I no longer need to decide what to do next every time I finish a task. A quick glance at the calendar tells me exactly what's next. This visual rhythm really helps you stay grounded, especially if your attention tends to wander. My favorite moment is that satisfying little sound when a task checks off. And when I see the boxes gradually filling up in the monthly calendar, that sense of order becomes addicting. It makes me want to keep going, not because I'm chasing productivity, but because I can literally see myself moving forward. I used to think task managers were only for productivity experts, but now I realize they're actually a way to make life clearer and easier. If you feel like your memory is getting worse, or your life is getting more chaotic, maybe it's simply time to let TickTick remember things for you. If this system works for you, a like really helps. And if you're interested in more ways to get the most out of TickTick, consider subscribing. See you next time.